All right, we are live, guys. Welcome to the lunch break here at Fish, North Georgia. It's Friday, October 31st. It's Halloween. Hope everybody's doing well out there, not working too hard today. Maybe some of you got the day off because it's Halloween. I do not know. But if you did, congratulations. If not, and you're working, hey, it's almost over. You guys will be out before you know it, and the weekend will be here. And I hope everybody's got some great plans for the weekend. I know I do. Got a lot going on this weekend. And be interesting to see what you guys think about it. Let's go ahead and take care of the business real quick, though. Toys for Tots tournament, December 6th out of Laurel Park. Guaranteed 5K first place prize, $80 per team, plus one unwrapped toy to help the Hall in Pickens County. Toys for Tots. Guys, listen, if you own a Phoenix and you win, there's Phoenix contingency money. There's going to be a great raffle afterwards. They're going to have batteries, lithium batteries, and all sorts of things. You know, you're going to get to fish against me and McGuire. And that's the best thing about it. Just see if you can come out there. Hey, let's help the kids, but see if you can beat me and McGuire. And again, if you're in Blue Ridge tomorrow and you're not scared, come fish. Fish is a hope. Tournament they're throwing for a young man named Matthew, $100 buy-in going out of Blue Ridge Marina. There's going to be a raffle, hamburgers, all that kind of stuff afterwards. But again, tomorrow I'll be fishing with Tony. Me and Tony will be going at it. So hope everybody's doing well. Hey, listen, you know what? One thing snuck up on me too when I was thinking about what I wanted to talk about today. I absolutely forgot. I just forgot that we're supposed to fix our clocks this weekend. I had no idea. And so now it's going to get dark. What, Sunday at like 6:30, 6 o'clock? Now, I don't know about you guys. A lot of guys, it says it leads to seasonal depression and everything. Not me, dude. I love the holidays. I love the holidays. And I want it to be cold. Has a little snow. I think it should be cold actually through gun season of deer season. But I actually think all the way through to Valentine's Day or maybe the Super Bowl. And then after that, it can go back to being 90 degrees for all I care. What's up, everybody? Justin, Doug, Coleman, Jeff, Tyler, Doc, and Tyler again. He's out there. Doug, this time next week, we ought to be heading to Kentucky, right? You might already be there, but it'll be about this time next week or something. I'll have to get with you on time. I'll be heading to Kentucky to partake of a little uh, fellowship over the white-tailed deer with Doug and his family. Ought to be a great time. I'm looking forward to it. Again, I want it cold. I want it cold. He's showing me all those pictures. It's going to be a fantastic time. I already know. Um, Kirk says, "What's up, Danny? Up here in the 51st state, I'm getting the boat tucked away in the storage in general winter prep. Somewhat depressing. See that? We don't have to do that here. You know what? I'm sorry for you. I know that probably stinks, but now you're just getting like down here in Georgia, we're just getting, it's about that time, right? It is about that time. Cameraman Cletus. Number one, Sydney Sweeney. Number two, Danny Pruitt in the Spice Rack. If you guys were there last night, listen, there's not too many guys that can pull that off. And I feel like I was one of them. I feel like I pulled it off for a while. Now, Clint afterwards fussed because we didn't keep our costumes on last night near as much or near as long as the night before. But hey, listen, I'm not lying to you. I have a newfound respect for the female because my back was really hurting. It seriously was uncomfortable. What's going on the rest of you guys? Now, so listen, um, couple things. Yeah, rolling was a trip last night. You know what? Kevin, let's say this about Kevin. Generally on our show, he's very quiet, right? And he does his question and he'll answer the questions, but generally he likes to listen. Last night, boy, he got in character and he went with it, right? I mean, he went with it. And to be honest with you, I was quite pleasantly surprised at how well he does Roland Martin. Right? It was great. I want to go ahead and real quick too give you guys a little bit. I talked about a little change in scheduling when I was talking about what we're doing. We are going to change it a little bit going forward with the lunch break, and I'll explain to you guys why. But he was great. So starting next week, okay, and we'll see how this goes. I'm not going to do the lunch break on Monday for sure. You guys will just have to power through Monday all by yourself. Now, the reason for that is business because I need a day, number one, to get out on the water, number two, to do content, number three, to emails and all that. So I need a day, and I love doing this, but sometimes, like, I have guys that want to take me fishing, and I could go get some content for the channel, but I got to do this. I got to do the podcast in the middle of the day. So Mondays, starting next week, there'll be no lunch break on Mondays. Fridays, we're going to go by ear. You understand what I'm saying? We're going to go by ear. But definitely on Mondays. And listen, and it's not that I don't enjoy it. It's just, dang, guys, I get busy. There ain't but one of me, and now I'm having to do everything. So Mondays, you guys are just going to have to power through. But I tell you one thing I am going to be doing on Mondays is I'm going to start recording these pre-recorded podcasts where I pick out one individual, and we're going to do some recording and getting to know, going back kind of to our roots a little bit, so that you guys can get not only what they catch fish on that, but the behind the scenes and the story of people. I always enjoyed doing that. I can remember some of the most emotional times. You guys have seen me tear up on the live well and all that. But I remember tearing up with Bill Payne telling me his story, uh, cutting up with LJ. Those were good times, and I want to get back to that. I want to get some of that stuff that allows you guys to see them. You know, not everybody will open up as much on a live podcast. Happy Halloween to you there, traveling fisherman on TikTok. Where the hell you at now? Where you at? But I just want to let you guys know it's not because it is so I can give you guys some better content and not just seeing me behind a microphone every single time. So starting Monday, you guys got to power through. But I'm hoping once I get all these things recorded, I can start dropping you one on Monday. I'd love to be able to drop you guys something every single day of the week. Can't promise that. There's only one of me. But I do want to get on the water. Like John Sarah wanted to take me over to Hickory Lock. I want to get on the water with the GoPros and the DJIs or DJ, whatever the heck they are. And let's see Danny actually catch some fish or actually show you what guys are fishing with. Take some time to get on somebody's boat and say, let's go. Danny, after what you wore last night, I'm worried about what content might mean. Guys, listen, I keep you guys on your toes, right? I keep you on your toes. That's what it's all about. But I just want to let you guys know that, just so you know, Monday, because listen, it's funny. When I'm not on, I get texts from people. Hey, are you okay? Everything okay? I don't see you. Especially if we don't do a live well. I'll get 10 texts that next day or that night. Hey man, what's going on? I don't see the show anywhere. I'm like, dude, we just took a day off. Or, you know, something come up and all that. But everything's gonna be cool. You just will not see me on Monday. So now that we got that out of the way, I still love all you guys. And yes, Doug, next Friday. Listen, this week's gonna drag. It's gonna drag so bad. Because again, Kentucky. I've never hunted in Kentucky. I'm so looking forward to hunting in Kentucky. I've done Illinois. I ain't done Kentucky yet. So it's gonna be fun. We're gonna have a good time. We're gonna have a good time. Now, given the fact that a lot of you guys have heard us talk about it, we got that tournament tomorrow. Tony and I do up on Blue Ridge. We kind of talked about it a little bit last night. You know, we talked about it a little bit last night, but you guys, number one, how many of you fish Blue Ridge? And, you know, even a lake similar to Blue Ridge, you know, we're talking 3,500 acres, spotted bass lake, draw down a little bit. What would you guys do? Because I'm sitting here, I have to get all my gear ready right after the show. I'm actually going to take off and fill a deer feeder, come back, finish my rods because we're going over to some friend's house tonight so that my wife can give out candy because that's just what she likes to do. And so I'm sitting here thinking about what I'm going to tie on. And I know we talked about certain things, but I want to see what you guys would do. It's like Coleman cranking in the morning right there. A lot of guys will be throwing cranking. I will go ahead and tell you, I already have a rock crawler tied on. I'll tell you what. Let me tell you what I'm gonna take. You guys tell me if it's good. Hey Rob, sorry you called me earlier today. I've been on a conference call with Digital Sportsman all morning. Not all morning, but I had a pretty long one with them. Fantastic company. You guys are gonna hear a lot about it. A lot about them. You've heard a lot already, but good things coming. But Rob says top water in the morning. Rob, you going to get to come down and fish? Just out of curiosity. Post frontal conditions. Yeah, Kyle Brown says. Yeah, Latham is looking a bit sporty today. It sounds like the wind is. It sounds like the wind's blowing a little bit out here. I'm going to go check the ditches tomorrow. Brooks let that slip out a little bit last night. Yeah, he did. It's about that time. Oh, good. Rob's coming. I can take Rob's money too. Fantastic. I'll get my ass kicked so bad. Danny, throw a deeper crank, a 6XD. Trust me. Trust me. And let me decline this phone call. They always call during the show. Don't people know I got a show going on? Tuna was white capping like nuts yesterday. Yeah. Me and John G are fishing a tournament on the Oconee tomorrow. No wind, no clouds. Going to be tough, I think. Yeah, it's going to be it's going to be interesting. I feel like Rocky Mountain. I know a lot of you guys maybe have never fished over at Rocky Mountain. It's an awesome couple of lakes, the PFA out there. But during the wintertime, boy, if you fish it, like we would have a tournament and the front would move through, and that day it would be like bluebird skies and just cold. Those were the worst days to fish on that lake. I hated it, and it seemed like every time we had a tournament there, that's what would happen. And again, we haven't fished there in a couple of years, but the new schedule came out for next year. And where's the first event? Rocky Mountain in February. Gonna be fun. Buzz baiting a jig. Patricia Lee and Sean Ken right here. Attach 5 lures to that bra you were wearing last night and call it the bra rig. And we could do it. Could I catch fish on it? I heard through the grapevine, Ken, you might be showing up. I hope you do. It's always a pleasure seeing you, sir. Now, Rob said I wouldn't bother throwing a crank at Blue Ridge. That's just my opinion. I will have 4 things on deck. He said he will have a topwater, a minnow, an A-rig, and a shaky head, maybe a glide bait. Maybe a glide bait. And then got you one tied out, Doug said. I hope you're talking about the fish. I mean, the deer. You got me one tied for sure. What's up, Alex? I always forget that I'm supposed to be doing these comments and everything. There's only so many things I can do, right? Let's see. Throw a shaky head in like 25 to 10 feet of water. Look for fish on scope sitting on structure. And he's got the scope. I like how you did that. You went like backwards. You went backwards, Tyler. Most people say throw it like 10 to 20 foot of water. You went 25 to 10. So he's starting deep and going shallow. Now, I will tell you this again. So, Rob, this is what I had planned. And see, he said topwater, minnow, A-rig, shaky head. I will have on a rock crawler because I just do. I'll have on a jerk bait because I just do. I will have on a shaky head, Nico, or some style of that worm. I will have on a minnow. And I might have on one that is a bottom bouncing minnow. But it's going to be interesting because the last time I fished Blue Ridge, it was in the middle of summer last year when we had an electric only tournament up there. Lake was full. It's down a little bit. It was right after the spawn, and even kind of towards the there could have still been some fish spawning. But it's not. I've never fished it this late in the year. Now, depending on the number of boats, we got some good guys coming. Farmer's going to be up there and all that, and Dave and Ken will be up there. They can fish. And it's going to be good just to see the guys. Tim's going to be up there he's going to fish with his wife tomorrow. You can tell they are a newlywed couple, right? Because they'll fish together. My wife won't fish with me at all. And we all know the story why. But even if that story didn't happen, she's not going to go fish. And I don't know that I want her on a boat with me fishing in a tournament situation. So kudos to him. Kudos to him. Shout out to Blue Ridge Marine, Jen over there. Afterwards, we're going to give a few gifts to this young man, and she is going to provide a few things. And so that's very kind of her. You guys, if you're in Blue Ridge, go check out Blue Ridge Marine. If you're selling a boat, buying a boat. But that's pretty nice of her stepping up to do that. Alex got him some chili cheese burritos today. I know. I ain't had one in about a week. It's about time to go get one. But I know, Rob, you fished Blue Ridge a lot. And I honestly, I've fished Blue Ridge in the last 4 years, maybe 3 times. 3 times, but all in the late spring, early summer. So this would be new. I'm excited to do it. I will be curious to see what we catch them on. I do have a lot of people out there that tell me, hey, throw this, throw that, We don't have a no info rule for the Fishes of Hope tournament. So if you think I'm not asking people, you're crazy. I'm asking everybody. And, hey, we'll see if it works out. I've never fished Blue Ridge, but I can't imagine the fish are acting that different from tuna or Lanier. Eh, Blue Ridge is kind of its own little, it's a little different. Basically, what you're saying, yes, it shouldn't, but it does. It's not quite. I don't know if Blue Ridge is always either behind Lanier or Alatoona or always a little ahead of it. I forget. I've heard guys talk about it a lot. Rob says it should take 17 to 20 tomorrow. That would be good. If you listen, that'd be a good bag on Blue Ridge. What I'm curious to see is if anybody brings to the scale a smallmouth. Last year, the year before, there was a 5-pound smallmouth brought to the scale in a tournament on Blue Ridge. Now, Blue Ridge used to have a ton of smallmouth. There's still some in there, but the spots, we know what the spots do. They've got some of the hybrids with them. You guys throw that. Okay, how about this? Throw it out there. Okay, two things. What do you think it's going to take to win tomorrow on Blue Ridge, best 5 fish? And what do you think Tony and I will weigh in? What do you think Tony and I will weigh in? Just, hey, listen, if you think we're going to weigh in 9 pounds, throw 9 pounds out there. We'll see. I'm going to write it all down, and we'll come back on Tuesday since I won't be here on Monday, and we'll talk about it. No shot on the smallie. I know, listen, they're unicorns. They're unicorns up there, but there's still some there. Better bring those dude wipes. Listen at you. I bet it takes 19.62. And Rob says, I know I won't weigh in unless I have 17 plus. 19.61, take it or leave it. 20.06, you guys are really, really thinking positive right there. Blue Ridge is a special lake, cast fishing for sure. Now, Cameraman Cletus has no confidence in me or Tony whatsoever. He said we're going to weigh in 6.73 pounds. 6.73 pounds. My Lord, Clint, is that all you're going to let us catch? So you're saying Tony's going to catch 5 pounds and Danny's going to provide 1.73 for a total bag of 673. We'll see. You never know. Tony's never fished Blue Ridge. He's never fished Blue Ridge. Now, I will tell you this, that one of the gentlemen that I talked to, and he will remain nameless, nor will I give you the information that he gave me, 2 weeks ago, won a tournament up there, and it was 15 something. And the reason I say that is because I see now Tyler says Danny and Tony will weigh 17.78, but Patricia Leanne Shaw said 15 pounds will win. Well, that's what it took 2 weeks ago. It took 15 pounds 2 weeks ago on Blue Ridge to win the tournament. Now, that gentleman told me where he fished at. He told me what he caught him on. We shall see, right? We shall see. Y'all were weighing 15 plus, Silver Punk. That's a lot better than Clint. Clint, I hope you get an ass itch all weekend. Like, seriously. Like, one that you can't stop just for that comment. And I hope it lasts all the way till Tuesday. I love you too, but I hope that happens to you. Dang it, can tell it's Halloween and the end of the month. Files blowing up. Everyone behave. And if I get done, I'll come back. You join us again, DP. John G says 13.4. That's a decent one. Clint trying to tell me he loves me. You know what? I don't know. What's up, Collins? Tyler Shona, I feel like someone will catch one of them largemouth that hide out in that lake and get huge. Listen, there are some largemouth there. I mean, it's going to be a predominantly spot. The weigh-in is going to be predominantly spots. Now, Farmer, depending on how Farmer fishes, he might go, target the largemouth. He knows where they're at in that lake. Rob's got a lot of experience on that lake. Silverpunk said 15 to win, then I'll change it to y'all weighing in 12 plus. Listen, you handicapping me because of a previous tournament right there. I'm just throwing numbers out there. It's going to be fun. Now, I tell you what, it's going to be. It's going to be cold, though. This will be the first time this year I've been on a boat with cooler temperatures. And I'm going to try out that Spro Wicked Wear, at least the parka for sure. Hopefully it stands up to its name and I stay warm and all that. But I'm looking forward to it. It's going to be a good time. That's, I do like having weekends and I like having weeks where you got something to look forward to, right? Now, as much as I love my family, though, on Sunday after church, I got to go to another gender reveal. If you guys have been following me for a while, you know what I think about gender reveals. But I've got to go to one of those. And as long as they've got good finger food, some snacks, some beverages, I'm okay with it. But, again, us old guys, we didn't do that back in the day. I think it'll take 16 pounds to win. You and Tony will have 14 pounds. Ain't none of you guys picking us to win? Now, Colin said, Tyler said, I'm excited to fish the barns next weekend. That'll be interesting for you. Good luck with that. You're going to see there'll be some sure enough studs fishing that if they're in town. I will say this, you do well at a barns tournament, you've done something. Like, honestly, I think if you finish top, if he gets his full field and you finish top 10 in a barns tournament, you've done something. Top 5, you've really done something. Because there are some hammers that fish that. I predict y'all will catch 85 inches. I don't know anything about pounds, kayak guy. Yeah, we might catch some. Yeah, I'll let you know. I might measure it. Now, what Tony doesn't know is I'm going to be doing a little. We're going to be doing some social media clips during it too. I've got a couple for Spro in mind. I've got a couple for Digital Sportsman, which is the logo right. I can't. I got to figure out how to point on this thing here. No, it's this hand. Here we go. There. And this backdrop makes your hand disappear. I got to come up with something better than that. But we're going to be doing during the tournament. I'm going to say, Tony, hey, record this. Take a picture of me doing this. He's going to be like, dang, Danny. But he understands. Got to do that. Got to pay the bill somehow. Hopefully, this is a gender reveal for an unborn person. You never know these days. It is. It is. Those could be an email. Yeah, for sure. Most of the fish. Now, here's interesting. Most of my fish needed to be fizzed today. Saw a couple air bladders in their throats. Spicer, what depth were you taking them out of, if you don't mind me asking? And you only near? That is something that a lot of you guys need to know how to do. Now you can do the fin clips and you can try that, but in worst case scenarios, you need to know how to fizz. And so I'm going to ask you guys that do know how to fizz. What are you more comfortable with, going through the side or going between the chompers? 40 to 60 foot on Allatoona. Wow. I made my own chili cheese burritos last week, and they were delicious. Kent, absolutely. If you know what to do and you get it close, they are for sure. I'd rather run a weed eater all day than to go to a gender reveal. Now, Jeff, generally, I would say the same thing, 100%. However, I would much rather go to a gender reveal than to be stuck with Mrs. Pruitt in this house, mad at me all weekend because I didn't go to her niece's gender reveal. So it's kind of, you know what I'm saying? You got to weigh out what's worse, right? Some days you just got to take the bad. You just got to take the bad. Let's see. I couldn't find the fizzing needles at Hammond's. They're there. They should have them there. Cold front got them running to the mud. Cameraman Cletus said, "Yeah, I mean 40 to 60 foot's deep for sure." Coleman said the side. Cletus said the side. How about the rest of you guys? Now, here's the thing: is I do prefer going through the mouth. I don't have a problem going through the mouth. I've never had a problem. But I remember, God, this is awful. I had a fishing partner one time who attempted to fizz a fish for the first time in his life in front of me. I didn't know it was his first time. After about 32 pokes and killing that fish almost, I said, dude, give me the daggum fizz needle. And it really wasn't that many, but you could tell he had no clue what he was doing. And finally I said, give it here. And I just popped, did all the thing, let the bubbles come out. Fish was fine. It lived despite its torture. Probably one of those fish that did not make it long afterwards. Not my fault. But I think that's something everybody's got to learn how to do, just in case you need it. Now, Colin says through the side, through the chocolate starfish, Coleman. No. Coleman, I'll tell you what. I got my eye on you, boy. I got my eye on you. You come out with some interesting things every once in a while in the comment section right there. Spicer said, I was catching them shallow for a couple weeks, only caught 3 shallow and 9 deep. The fish and tuna are stupid deep from what I saw yesterday. Now, do y'all think that's a result of the weather, of the front coming through? Silverpunk says, I don't even fish deep enough to fizz, but I want to know how to. Listen, Silverpunk, I caught a largemouth on Latham. Now, it was in late February, early March, right before they went on bed. I was under the culvert on the backside where it's not as deep and a lot of timber, a lot of blowdowns over it. And I pitched a Ned rig. This has been about 3 or 4 years ago. Pitched a Ned rig over a log, less than 2 foot off the bank, but the bank was kind of a steep bank, so maybe it landed in 5 foot of water. Line starts taking off, set the hook, about a 4.5 pound largemouth. Now, I had to fizz that fish. And it was only in maybe it something had to do with cold water. I don't know, but it was only in 5 foot of water. Mark Madden, please explain fizz a fish. I've never heard that terminology before. So, fish have air bladders, right, Mark? And so they use that air bladder to help regulate their depth, right? And when you catch a fish deep, you might have seen it with ocean fish too. Sometimes you'll see that air bladder sticking out of their mouth. But when you pull a fish too fast or out of deep water, sometimes that air bladder expands. And if you put them in your live well, easy way to kind of tell, you put them in your live well and they lay on their side. See you, traveling fisherman. Appreciate you joining me today. Um, they lay on their side. They can't regulate it so that they can sit straight up, and they're on their side. And sometimes, yeah, like Tyler said, they'll go upside down. And they'll die if you don't take care of it. Now, sometimes you can take what they call fin clips. They're pieces of lead with clips, and you can put them on their bottom fins, and you can hold them straight up and down, and let nature kind of regulate it. Doesn't always work. Sometimes it does if they haven't got really bad, but sometimes it does. But to fizz a fish, you take a needle. Okay, they make them out there, and you either can go through the side. And there's a little technique going back, counting so many scales back at a certain level, and you poke straight level through. And basically, you're releasing the air out of that bladder. Now, there's it's good to do it in the water. You can see the bubbles coming up. You can go that way, or if you look inside a bass's mouth on the very top, back in the back, they got what everybody calls the chompers. If you go right between them, level, you can get in that air bladder too as well and release the air, and it helps the fish regulate. Now, if you don't know what in the hell you're doing and you're going in like this or like that and you're just poking and all that, you're doing more damage to the fish. And so it's good to watch some videos. Um, you might really muff up your first one or two. But it's something that you need to get confidence in and you need to learn how to do, especially if you're going to fish a highland reservoir where they're deep. I mean, yeah, those fish right there. And sometimes you'll see it after a weigh-in on a tournament where guys don't take care of their fish. They're catching them deep. And they're going to release the fish, and you'll see a couple. They're out there, and they're alive, but they're on their side and everything. They need to be fizzed. I know one time at Hickory Log, we were waiting out after out. I mean, I think I was almost chest deep, which don't take a lot. Again, I'm not tall, but getting fish, and we were fizzing them because some guys didn't take care of their fish. They will die. Now, sometimes they will, they can kind of regulate themselves, but it's just also too, when all that air is in their bladder, it's putting pressure on their innards. You know what I'm saying? On their guts, on their heart, all that stuff. So it's something you got to really do, but you got to like this. It's like Clea said this too. 3 scales from the back from the pectoral fin go under the scale parallel to the fish. Poke in, then turn to where the needle is perpendicular and insert. Hold underwater till all the bubbles stop. Pull needle. I do basically the same thing he said like that, where I go to the chompers underwater, let it bubble out, and till the bubbles go. My wife had a fish in a fish tank that had an air bladder problem. When it had an issue, you would feed it a couple of peas and it would help. I kid you not, Brian Cannon. Hey, listen, I didn't have that on my bingo card for today. That's interesting. What kind of fish was it? Just out of curiosity. But it is something everybody needs to know how to do. But I will always try the fin clips first. I'll always try the fin clips first, and just let it hold itself upright and see if that helps. Sometimes though, you got to do it like immediately. Let's say you're in a Hammond's Digital tournament. I ain't never thought about that. How they do that in the Hammond's tournament? Because you got to have the scale. I guess you could fizz it before you actually put it on there. I know you got to video all that because then you got to hold it out over the water and release it straight into the water. So I guess you would have to fizz it before you started with the scale. Uh, mm, Clint, listen at you right there. I read that without the. I'm trying to figure out. I don't even know what you got. You guys are talking about something totally different over there in the comment section. But it's just part of fish care everybody needs. I know that there's a couple companies that make one. You need to make sure too. You can go online and order them, but they make them for saltwater fish too that are different than the ones in freshwater. Freshwater, you do not need that big of a needle. Okay, if you're doing a big snapper or something, or glass group or whatever the hell coming out, yeah, those are big, and you can tell, you can see. I mean, that almost looks like a daggum coffee stirrer straw. That hole's so big, or that needle's so big. But generally, even if you had a diabetic family member and you could get a needle or two, you actually could use those. But Fish Care Products makes one out, and it's a good one, and it's sturdy. I don't know the official name, but it was a big goldfish the size of your fist, and so had air bladder problems. You feed it peas, and it gets better. Interesting, interesting. Coleman says, I think I use a size 18. Are you talking about the size needle, Coleman, for that? For sure. Now, those of you that are scared or not going up to Blue Ridge to fish against us this weekend, where are you fishing if you are fishing? And also, too, how many of you are giving out candy tonight? And how many of you are taking kids out trick or treating? Are you going to be a candy giver tonight? We talked about the best kind of candies yesterday. If so, what are you gonna give out? What kind of candy you throwing out there tonight? Long as a coffee stir, thick as a can of Viennas. Good Lord. Do I get red flagged if I buy them off Amazon? Maybe. Maybe you do. I'm taking my girlfriend and my brother-in-law on Lanier this weekend. Kyle Brown's going to be on West Point. John G, of course, is going to be the Oconee Championship tomorrow. Going to be a cold morning. Tyler says, and I'm giving out candy to the neighborhood kids. Tyler, what kind of candy are you giving out? Are you a cheap ass or are you giving out the good stuff? And don't lie. Be honest. If you're cheap, tell us you're cheap. If you're giving out that nasty candy corn, let everybody know you're giving out that nasty candy corn. Don't say you're giving out Butterfingers and Reese's Pieces when we know you ain't. Maybe you are. I hope you are. Don't be cheap to the kids. Okay? It's a tough economy out there, I know right now. Splurge a little bit. Definitely no candy corn for sure. I will be sitting in a living room with my buddy, and we'll just be talking crap while my wife sits there at the door, almost like a dog waiting for you to come home. He's like, come on, I need a trick or treater. Brazil said, I'll be on Pickwick and Bay Springs this weekend over here in my area. There you go. Canned corn is cheaper. It is cheaper. You got to save that for the trout. Also, too, another thing, too, guys, tomorrow morning, Moist Donut just hit it. I was getting ready to bring that up, Moist Donut. Tomorrow morning, November 1st, starts the delayed harvest period in Georgia for 5 of the delayed harvest streams. You've got the Toccoa up above Lake Blue Ridge. You've got the Amicalola Creek up here right by my house. You have Smith Creek up at Unicoi. You have the Chattooga up on the South Carolina, Georgia border. And then you have a little section down there in Atlanta. And so, listen, and a lot of guys like that because, listen, be honest, the average is catch and release only, single barb hook. Most guys that fish are fly rod guys. The Chattooga is already full of fish, Moist Donut. I enjoyed fishing there. That's the place, too, where they dump them in some places by helicopter, right? That's what we got told. Cam said he's going to be drinking beer in the garage. I'm only giving parents Coors. Hoodlums ain't getting anything. I'm just joking. Odds Danny gets more than 2 hours of sleep tonight. Probably not going to happen. Remember the candy cigarettes. I don't think they make those anymore. Giving candy cigarettes to kids. I will tell you this. I got in trouble at a church function when I was about 12, 13 years old. And it wasn't my church. It was the Coming Church of God. And we went with some of the people. They're kind of Pentecostal. And we went with some of the people in our neighborhood. They were doing kind of like almost like a Bible. Uh, what do they do that during the summertime? It's like Bible school. Where they do it for like a week. You know what I'm talking about? In the evenings, a lot of Baptist church do it. Um, but somebody had candy there or something like that, and they had the cigarettes there. And I, of course, pulled one out, and I had it hanging out my lip just like my dad because he smoked cool menthol kings. And so I had that cigarette, that candy cigarette hanging out my mouth, being cool, right? Pastor of that Pentecostal church come up to me and goes, "Son, get that out of your mouth." Now again, I didn't go to this church. In fact, back then my family didn't go to church that much. This was pre-Jesus Danny and everything. And boy, I got ripped. I got ripped by that guy. And I'm like, Vacation Bible School, that's it. Now, in the back of my mind as a 12-year-old kid, of course not in these words, but I'm like, what in the hell you guys giving them out if I can't sit here and act like I got a candy cigarette in my mouth? But yeah, I remember that. But I remember those, John G. I did though, but that's my one memory with the candy uh, cigarettes. I tried to be like my dad because he would. I mean, he did. He smoked those cool menthol kings, and I would. I've never been much of a cigarette smoker, but he had it hanging there as well. He'd take a drag, and pop up. He'd let it back down, take a drag, pop up. Good days. Good days. That's back when we could ride in back of trucks and stuff and everything too. Didn't have to wear a seatbelt. And we survived somehow. All you guys today are soft. Um, the North Carolina delayed harvest is way better than Georgia's. Sure, probably is. South Carolina stocks with a helicopter sometimes. They were using trucks yesterday. Where's some good trout rivers now? I haven't been trout fishing in 12 years. Well, you can I mean, like all those places that I just said, if you want to go single barb hook and I mean you can get rooster tails with a single barb. You can throw them if you want to, but again, they keep these stocked pretty good. And last year on Amicalola Creek, they actually stocked some brook trout, decent sized brook trout. But again, the Chattahoochee River below Buford Dam is good year round. The Toccoa River below Blue Ridge is good year round. But those delayed harvest sections, these streams with the delayed harvest sections, they're going to be good for the next couple months because I believe that runs through March or May. Might even be May. November 1st to May 14th, I think it is, somewhere in there. But again, Amicalola Creek between Devil's Elbow and Highway 53, you got the Toccoa River. That's like sandy bottoms, kayak put in or canoe put in down about a mile and a half, 2 mile stretch, something like that. Go to Unicoi State Park behind the lodge up there. You got Smith Creek, and that's the easiest one to catch them out of, if you ask me. The Chattooga River, you go up to Rayburn County, somewhere near the Dillard House, and you make a right hand turn. I think is it War Woman WMA? I don't know, but you drive. Don't worry about getting cell phone service on this one. You ain't getting it, and that's pretty cool. Cold as hell though. And then you got that section down on the Chattahoochee River that I wouldn't even mess with. That's the only one I didn't catch fish in when we went and filmed was the Chattahoochee River. Now it is by a jogging um, area, and if it's a warm day, the scenery might be nice for you, but the fishing's going to suck. Ken, can we pay at the ramp tomorrow morning, or do I need to call you out this? I am not collecting money for this tournament, so pay at the ramp. Justin Butler, what lake on the Tennessee River should I go to tomorrow? Nick, Chick, or Watts? Dude, I mean, I like Chick. That's just me. Other guys might feel a little bit different, but I like Chickamauga. My buddy had a 20 on the top toad on Nickajack yesterday. Wow. There you go. On the lower end. Silverpunk, you could blow on some of those candy cigarettes and they now powdered sugared out like smoke. Yeah, you could. You could back in the day. Do I just have a foul mind, or do so many fish and lure names sound insanely crude? It is not your mind. They are, because guys name them. They have foul minds. So I smoked a broom in high school. I cut the straw off a broom, wrapped it in a napkin, and smoked it. Why? What's up, LT Jigs? How you doing, buddy? Why would you do that? Huh? You almost, I mean, now you're going Ozzy Osbourne right there. You might as well be snorting ants. I remember doing that with salt. That was stupid back in the 7th grade. I don't know why somebody dared me to do that, but yeah, put out a line of salt. It was okay. It kind of hurt. Let's see. John G. Wilson. We're going country right here with this one here. We used to smoke rabbit tobacco when we camped out in Boy Scouts. Those were fun days. So, I mean, like, listen, those days, my grandfather drank a lot. He lived beside us. And cameraman Cletus, I can't believe I read that comment right there. Doing good, buddy. Just trying to power through the weekend. But he had a cooler. He'd come home every day. And let's just say he drank a lot. He did quit later in life, but there was a period of time when my grandfather was probably a very high-functioning alcoholic. Every day, he'd come home with a 12-pack of Budweiser. And then on Friday nights and Saturday nights, he'd have 2 12-pack of Budweisers. And his cooler sat on the front porch. And then he would, once it got dark, he would go in. He'd sit at the little area that he sat in. And we would sit under his porch. And we would wait till he had a few. And then we would reach up there and take one out. And we'd sit under that porch and we would drink it. And it was always funny because he'd come out, especially as it got towards the end of the 12-pack, because you knew he was counting. Like, I got 4 left. All right, yay. And he'd come back out and he'd only have 3 in there. And you could see I mean, we couldn't really see it, but you could hear him kind of sitting there looking into his cooler going, well, something ain't right. Something ain't right at all. I did that. We did that. Good Lord, I don't know how many times we did that. It was PBR or Budweiser, mostly Budweiser. Ken said he will be at church giving out candy. I didn't eat for 2 weeks to give kids candy. We got the good stuff. There you go. Good for you. You trunking and treating tonight, ain't you? Now, I remember my great-grandma dipping rooster stuff. Now, my Granny Pruitt did it. And she would take a spoon and she'd reach into that little dental snuff, is what they kind of call it. That's what we called it. She'd get a spoon and she'd stick it in her mouth and she'd go, whoom, whoom. And that shit was packed and it was ready to go. And she had a red Solo cup and she'd be talking to you and she'd have that little brown stain. A lot of you guys grew up in the South know exactly what I'm talking about. You had your granny or great aunt or something like that. And had that little brown stain kind of coming right down there. Now, one time, me and my cousin, I don't know if he remembers or not, we were both dipping Copenhagen. And he started chewing tobacco like at 11, long time before I did. But we were over at Granny's. Let's swap. You give us some of that dental snuff and we'll give you a pinch of Copenhagen. And she got her pinch, threw it in her mouth. Didn't do nothing. I got that damn spoon and I went to get some of that dental snuff and I got it right there and I watched how she did it. And I went to stick it in my mouth and I threw back like I was trying. There's a secret to it. You got to pack it in there really quick. Because if you mess up like I did, your entire mouth, inside down the back of your throat, is coated with fine dust, brown dust. And you will absolutely choke to death. Absolutely choke to death. Now, it took me a couple times, and I got it, but I never got the hang of that stuff. Let's see. Granny Pruitt needs to be your costume tonight. That was Addie Lee. We called her, that was her name, Addie Lee. Now, here's the cool thing, and my wife is about to this age, too. You get to be a certain age as a woman, especially in the South, you can say whatever the hell you want to and get away with it because you are an older, mature woman. I'd have cousins, aunts. We'd be at Granny's house. They'd come walking in. She'd be sitting there. She got her dental snuff in. She'd look at him and like, you gain weight? I mean, just like, damn, Granny, you ain't supposed to say that. She did not care. She did not care. She could get away with it. She said whatever was on her mind. It didn't matter who she pissed off or what. She had no filter. Now, she didn't cuss. She wasn't one of that. She was a fine church-going woman. She was just blunt. She also couldn't carry a note to sing, and she'd sit behind me in church, and it was like a bobcat behind me. her and my uncle. My uncle was a pastor of the church, and for some reason they got the bright idea to put in the back bathroom. In the bathrooms, they put speakers in there. So I guess if you went to take a shit, you could listen to my Uncle James continue to preach. I don't know why they did that. But my God, if he was singing up there, it was awful. Like you'd go in there and you'd have performance anxiety. You couldn't pee because the singing was so bad. It was terrible. I don't know who thought that was a great idea. But yeah, the brown stain, absolutely fantastic stuff. My great grandma did snuff and didn't have teeth, so she would spit all over you when she talked. I think most of our grandparents back then had dentures. Cletus says that's why I like older women. Uh, Child at 11 is nuts. Hey, listen, that's for South County, Dawson County, whatever, North Georgia back in the day. There's certain types of snuff that's meant to be snorted as well. Yeah, for sure. My great grandma would call my dad certain names that shall not be named because he wore baggy pants when my parents met. Yes, I know exactly what you guys are talking about. Old people can get away with it, old women especially. I mean, grannies in the South could be like cruel, and they didn't mean to be cruel. They were just like, hey, you look fat. You been eating too much? You need to get out and walk. Oh, it was good times. Let's see. My granny was exactly the same, no filter. She'd put that Winston light down and ask me if I've gained weight. Wouldn't they, though? And then my granny Pruitt, like, she'd come over and she'd say, you want something to eat? You hungry? And I'd be like, no. And she wouldn't even miss a beat. She'd go, what, you sick? I'm like, no, Granny, I'm just not hungry. Well, you must be sick. No, ma'am. No, ma'am. I'm just fine. Well, you need to sit down because that ain't gonna work around here. Ain't gonna work. I remember. I don't know if Jason ever listened to this, and I don't know if he remembers it, but I do. She was Granny done got down and she done got back in bad health. Kind of like dementia kind of thing, laying in bed. It's getting closer to the end. Jason's preacher. I'm not, but I remember him sitting there and we're both in the bedroom with her. She's staring up like nothing. Jason, if he'll remember this if he listens to this, he goes, Granny, you ready to go? You know, kind of one of those things that you say when somebody's about to die, like, hey, you ready? You ready to go? You ready to go home? That woman hadn't said a word all damn morning. She might not even talk the day before. I don't know. He said that. She looked at him square in the eye and she goes, no. Dude, I was dying laughing. That was the funniest thing. I mean, I was just sitting there just like, hell yeah. That's the way it should work. I was dying laughing. Because he's trying to be all serious, right? You know, and what do you say? What do you say at that point? Like, Granny, you ready to go? No. I was like, yes. Oh, about like the cussing baptism I went to right there. That stuff does burn like hell in the nose. I might go get some, and maybe next week on the show, I might try to see if I can put it in. I haven't tried to put that stuff in, and I'm 53. It was probably 40 years. I guess they still sell it at the Ingles. I'm sure they do. If you want some of that old stuff, go to the Ingles. They got it. But I might see if I might get a thing of that old dental snuff, and I probably get banned on TikTok for doing it. But you YouTube people might think it's pretty funny, and see if I actually can take a spoon and whip it in my mouth. Do not cut that. That sounded bad. I'm pretty sure my great grandma got pneumonia when she was in the hospital because she would fall asleep with dip in her lips. Yeah, 100%. I do that from time. I used to do that a lot more when I drank. Grandma would say, "Quit eating all that sugar. You're gonna get worms." Silver Punk. I heard that too. I absolutely heard that too. But like Granny would go out in the garden. Now I had listen. My two grannies were on. They were just different. My dad's side, she got out there and hoed in the garden and all that, and yeah, she would feed you. I mean, she would cook and feed. She was old school, tough. Now my granny on the other side, not quite as tough, a little old school, kind of crazy in the head. Well, she's certified crazy, probably. She would fix me growing up. She didn't have a lot of money. None of us did. But I loved going over there because she would fix me this certain sandwich. Now, you guys are probably going to puke when you hear it, but it was absolutely fantastic to me. She'd take a loaf of white bread or a piece of white bread, and she'd take margarine. We all know margarine ain't good for you anymore, right? and she would slather that thing with margarine. All right. And this is why most of the family probably had diabetes. And then she would take a cup of sugar and she would just pour sugar over that butter till you couldn't see, or margarine till you couldn't see it. And then she'd fold it in half. She'd go, here. I was like, that's fantastic. Absolutely fantastic. Probably knocked 10 years off my life. And again, they were poor. I was poor. I didn't know anything about it. I didn't know that wasn't, that was like a steak dinner to me. Oh, dude. Yeah. Talking about sugar high was crazy. Ingles probably sells pickled rat's feet or something. They have everything. They do have pickled pig's feet. Spicer wants me to sniff a little of that too. I don't know if I can get away with that on camera. You either ate what Granny or Nanny cooked, or you'd go to bed hungry, Captain Morgan. 100%. Tyler says no. Hopefully, no one has done a tobacco enema, and I don't know why in the hell, Tyler, you would think about that, but you did. Again, you and Coleman. I'm telling you, y'all were a little bit strange. Speaking of sugar, my Uncle Ricky liked sugar so much he ate it with his nose. I listen, but you know what? Back then, I'll tell you how old I am. Papa and them didn't have I think they had a freezer. I think they did have. They were poor. I think they had a freezer, but I do know that if it was a special occasion to where you needed a bunch of ice, or you had to ice down um, fish or something when they went down to like Port St. Joe and everything, you could go to Duluth, Georgia, and you could go to the ice company there and buy a cube of ice, almost like 18 by 18-inch cube of ice, and take it back home and crush it up. You had to crush it yourself. This is back before you could go to the grocery stores and buy bagged ice. They would go get big cubed things of ice. Now we're talking the 70s. And we're talking about Fulton County right there by the Chattahoochee River, Johns Creek area now. But they would have to go to Duluth to buy ice. It's crazy how things have changed around there, right? Clint's having a conniption hearing about that sandwich. That's what I grew up on, dude. Butter and sugar sandwiches. My grandmother would cook supper like 40 people were coming over, and it would only be 4 of us. She made the best scratch biscuits, too. Now, listen, and I saw Kendra on here, too. I don't know if I said hey to Kendra. Kendra, how you doing? I meant to say hello to you. I don't know, and I'm not going to knock women of this generation because some of them can cook. But listen, biscuits, pound cake, fried apple pies, pecan pie, pecan, whichever way you want to say it, dressing. There's certain things old women would make that women today can't replicate. I'm sorry, I don't care what baking show you've watched or whatever. Back then, they didn't measure stuff out. I remember I've watched my granny make biscuits before. Like there was no like a spoonful of this or that. She just, yeah, yeah, that looks good. Salmon patties. Holy yes. I'm hungry now. Salmon patties. But now my mama can cook. She cooked that. Now my mama could cook real good. Get the country crock containers out for leftovers. Everybody had country crock back then. That was the margarine. You want to know what led to probably a lot of the obesity in the United States that we deal with now? Country crock margarine. You didn't crush the ice. You probably stabbed it with the ice pick. Yeah, I remember that. Now, Tyler, I love this 19-year-old, your life. My girlfriend is amazing at baking, makes me insanely happy sometimes. Tyler, I love you, kid. You just don't know any better. Now, let's seriously, I'll be honest with you. I hope she can cook. I hope you can cook too. I can cook. I like to cook. I do. My fiance has cooked 3 times in 3 years. I enjoy cooking. Here at my house, because I am the only, I have to be careful because I like spicy food. I like to eat my meat rare, my steaks and all that rare, medium rare. And my wife is on the opposite end of the spectrum. So when it comes to grilling and things like that, I handle that. Because Lord knows if I let her grill a steak or something like that, I might as well put laces on and go out and play catch in the yard with the neighborhood kid. I might as well. My uncle's house still has the concrete box in the creek that they used to keep their milk and stuff in as a fridge. Wow. Wow. That's that's different, dude, for sure. But yeah, them salmon patties are legit. And a lot of people don't eat them things no more. They had to make those dishes all the time back then for the church potluck supper every month. I grew up Baptist, so yeah, I went to many a good potluck for sure. My dad lived with me for a week after my surgery and kept saying he wished my mom could cook like me. You ain't supposed to say that there, Coleman. I don't know. My girl made some cinnamon roll cookies that had icing in the middle. It was wild. She can bake better than Crocker. Listen at you. Real butter is better for you than margarine. They found that out now, right? They found that out. Now listen, and I like salted butter. I can go in there right now, and you guys gonna think this is gross, but I can take a stick of butter and chew on it. I love that stuff. Buttermilk, all kinds of things you guys don't drink or eat no more. My mom continued to cook salmon patties, continued the salmon patty recipe, so I'm good at it and hungry now. Dude, it's been a while. I love that stuff. Bones left in, not crushed, and salmon patties for me. How about y'all? Bones left in. However you want to do it. I didn't care. I ate it all. You guys over there. Oh, Kendra's having a hard day, unfortunately. Hun, what's going on? Let us know. We'll help you out. What's going on, Kendra? Uh, Me and my dad would shrivel and die if my mom didn't cook, right? Uh, Danny, she's gonna bust through that door if she hears the football comment again. I won't do that. Salmon patties in the air fryer, they were great. Now again, listen, I know air frying is the rage. Air frying is all the rage, and it's supposed to be healthier too, but it don't taste as good. I know you're not supposed to say that. I know, but it just ain't the same. Amanda likes to air fry a lot of things, and I'm like, I can tell. I don't know. Maybe it's just me. Maybe I'm picky, but I'm like, I don't know. I like stuff fried in butter. Salmon patties in the air fryer are great. I'll try it. Salmon croquets. Is that how you say that, John G? Love them things. Do y'all put mustard on your salmon patties? I put mustard on a lot of stuff. I hate air fryers. Fry that stuff in oil or beef tallow. Listen. It's healthy. There's some healthy things, but like some things it's good on. I'm not a big fan of the green stuff, the vegetables and all that, but sometimes Amanda takes some broccoli and put some kind of Italian seasoning and butter on it. She'll air fry it where it gets a little crispy. That's legit. $100, Ken. $100. I said, you guys come up to Blue Ridge Fish with us tomorrow. My specialty the last few years, where is that at? Is crappie patties, crab cakes with crappie instead. I would like to try that. I would like to try that. What's up? E living the fish. Doc Holliday puts maple syrup on your salmon patties. Coleman puts maple syrup on his. I put it in a biscuit. Air fryers suck. Oils aren't good for you either. It's better to use animal fat. I agree with that. Salmon croquettes. Okay. Justin Ortiz, you selling that Chevy? No. And I haven't tried maple syrup. I like maple syrup on a lot of stuff. I tell you what I don't really like, and since we're talking about food. Oh, hold on a second. Hold on a second. Kendra, my good friend and neighbor committed suicide. I just found out today. My heart is broken. Well, Kendra, listen, number one, we've dealt with that here. I'm very sorry for you and that news. I'm very sorry to hear about your friend. Um, we dealt with something like that just a short people somebody in my community that was very well known. We dealt with that a couple of weeks ago, and I am very very sorry. And I know again we talk about it all the time. There are things people going through their heads that we don't know about, and sometimes we feel like we missed it and all that. And I always tell everybody on this show, seriously, reach out to me and talk to me and that because I just maybe that's the answer. I don't know. They just needed someone. I don't know that situation, but I feel awful for you. But it is tough to get that news. And so yeah, we'll keep you in our thoughts and prayers on that. I know that doesn't. I mean, it helps to pray. And it helps to keep you in our thoughts and all that. But I know right now, me saying that is not taking away any of the pain right this second. But I am very, very sorry. I hate to hear that. Silverpunk. And this is why I love this community. We always can share through this. No, let's see. Oh, there you go. Silverpunk right here. I'm sorry to hear that, Kendra. I lost my wife that way, and it was the most tragic, heartbreaking thing I've been through. Silverpunk, I can't imagine it at all. I cannot even imagine that. But yeah, now listen, and um, yes, tough. Tyler said, coming from some experience of being in that headspace, talk to someone, please. Read your Bible too and stay hopeful. Absolutely. That's good advice. And this is the worst time of year for depression. Check on your people. And, we were talking about the time change and all that. And they do seasonal disorder and stuff like that. But a lot of people, listen, there's people in this world, nobody knows what they're going through. And a lot of people put on a happy face, right? Uh, oh, and you're the one that found her. I live with that image every day. Silverpunk, buddy. Dude, I am sorry. I'm absolutely sorry. That is something that I don't wish on anybody. But a lot of people, and every situation is different. But a lot of people put on that happy face, right? They put on that happy face and all that. And sometimes you got to dig a little bit. But we never understand that. And like I said, every situation is different. But it is terrible to hear that news. And I wish there was a way. There's a lot of things in this world that I would love to get rid of if I could snap my fingers and make it disappear, and that's one of them. Because how awful must it feel to that person to feel like that is the solution, right? And just if they knew how much they were loved. So I don't know, but man, he had a stroke a year ago, and he just felt like a burden. It is just so shocking, and I had tried to see him. Kendra, I understand that too. That happens a lot too with people who get diagnosed with a very serious condition. Um, and you know what? I mean, you hear people say all the time, "I don't want to live to be old enough to be a burden on people," right? So when you get into that headspace and that's what you're thinking, yeah. Um, but I'm telling you, I feel for you, hon. I am very, very sorry. And again, you know what, Silverpunk? Yeah, dude, I'm sorry too. Did not know that. Appreciate you sharing it. And you know, we'll try to kind of I know that's sad. We'll try to kind of power through this. We'll try to end it on a happy thing. But again, anybody that listens to the sound of my voice, whether you've never talked to me at all, for God's sakes, reach out to me somehow. Somehow. I'll talk to you. At least I'll listen. Probably can't solve none of your problems, but I'll listen. Pontoon Jody caught some fish today. The biggest one was 31 pounds. Well, I'm glad, Pontoon Jody. You acted like you'd been struggling. So I'm glad they're biting. Where'd you catch them at? Where did you catch them at? What part of Tennessee was you in? We'll wait on her to answer that, and then we're gonna we're about an hour in, and I got to go fill up a deer feeder and go pick up a Jeep from the shop, and then get all my rods and reels ready to go for this weekend, and then go hand out candy to a bunch of kids. So above Watts Bar Dam. Well, there you go. I'm glad, Pontoon Jody. We're getting ready to cut it. I'm glad you did come. Silverpunk says the best thing you can do is just celebrate all the positive memories you shared with them. That's all you got, right? That's all you can do. You do what you can do, and that's all you can do, Silverpunk. But I know, listen, you have my respect because I just don't know if I could, I've never had to deal with that. I hope I never do, and I feel for anyone that does. So with that, and again, you know what? It sounds like it's like the show's ending on a downside. It's really not. I know this is sad and everything, but you guys listen. It's always a call to action when we get something like this. There's always a call to action. Um, Brendan G, shop is not open anymore. If you want to message me on TikTok, I'll explain it to you there. So it's call to action. Check on your peeps as best you can. As best you can try. That's all you can do is try. And Appreciate it. Good luck to you guys tomorrow too, as well. We will. Tony and I'll be safe out there. We're going to go. I'm hoping Ken shows up so we can take his money, and Rob shows up, we can take his money. But whether you're hunting or fishing this weekend, again, you guys have a great time doing it. And it's okay, Brendan. No, don't be sorry. Just hit me up on Messenger and I'll tell you about it, or on message on TikTok. It's ending on a supportive note. That's what you got to do. We love each other. You know what? Just love people. I know some are harder than others. Some are really hard. Just love them. That's about all you can do. If people actually loved each other, or just even half-ass liked each other a little bit, the world would be a lot better place, right? So anyway, listen again. Remember, Monday, no shows on Monday. Starting this coming up week, I'll be back on Tuesdays to start the show. So you guys, if I don't see you or talk to you on social media, I'll see you Tuesday. And then Tuesday night, the live well, we're going to have Mick and Ryan from Cast On. Mick lives in Australia. He's over here, and he's experiencing all the fishing over here and everything. It's going to be great to pick his brain a little bit too, and listen to his accent because he is from Australia or something like that. So anyway, yeah, you guys have a great weekend, all right? And again, keep Kendra and people like Silverpunk in your mind and all that. So with that, love you guys. I will see you Tuesday. You guys kick ass this weekend and have some fun.